The Metis Tech Show.
Welcome to the Metis Tech Show, a show for HVAC professionals by HVAC professionals.
I like how you guys bounce back and forth between heat pump talk and food talk.
The Metis Tech Show.
Mitsubishi.
All right, so Michael and Anatoly. We had Tyler and who was the other guy?
Renardo Wilson.
Renardo. And that was a few years ago at the DSG conference. They attended the DSG conference. They had a blast with the casino night.
Yes.
Playing cards with fake money. That was really cool.
I think it was 2 years ago.
Yeah. So now you guys are on. Anatoly?
Well,
And Michael, we'll have you guys formally introduced at the beginning, but Halloween.
yes.
It's almost Halloween. It's like my
Candy.
favorite time of the year.
Yes.
Yes.
All right. And I was thinking to myself, do they do things differently in Canada for Halloween? Do you guys go door to door trick or treating? Do you do everything we do here?
I think it's the same pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
You dress up.
Yeah.
Probably a couple more layers, to keep warm.
I wonder why.
Maybe some shoveling, depending on the season, to get to the front doors. But pretty much the same thing. Little bucket, knock on the door, trick or treat, and then hopefully they give you something good, and
Nice.
not the individually wrapped candies.
Yeah, I did some digging, and because last year this was like my favorite episode.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember last year we did.
oh,
We
yeah, I
went
remember
completely
it.
bananas with this. I think our banter was like 25, 30 minutes long, and like
Just
the
on candy.
actual topic was 10 minutes. But we talked about the top 10 best candies and the top 10 worst. And I think the list, when it came to the worst candies, Paul liked more of the bad candies than he did the good candies. He loved the candies that collect dust on the shelf.
Yeah.
So I found that hilarious. And like the different ages and demographics that were on that podcast. You had Scott, you had Bryn. Bryn is a Sour Patch Kid. He's a kid. He's young, right? He's a
Right.
kid. I mean, we're all like Tootsie Rolls and
Mine
blah, blah, blah.
is, what is it? No, I forgot.
Your favorite?
Candy corn.
Oh yeah, you were all about the candy corn. Now
Yes.
what's funny is the candy corn made both lists. It made the worst list and the best list, depending. Yeah, it was pretty funny. Candy corns are okay. I mean,
They're great.
I'm not familiar with candy corn.
Yeah, I don't think we have.
What?
Yeah, I don't know if we
this-
don't.
Are you serious?
Because I don't think due to all the taxes and
tariffs.
Then held at the bar.
you may have a point
You guys
there.
can keep that one down here, I think.
Oh, that means more for me.
Sure for you.
I didn't know that candy corns are getting tariffed.
I know.
But I did some digging, and I what made me dig? Well, do you remember Juan going for CO2 training a few years ago
Yes,
in Canada?
in
And
Canada.
we paid a visit to you guys
Yep.
at MESCA. And at the CO2 training at Emerson, at lunchtime, they had, lunch out and all that, but then they had desserts. And in those desserts, I don't know if you had any, Juan, but there was Kit Kats.
Yes, I remember.
Not only
seeing
just
that.
a regular Kit Kat.
Yeah, this was different.
They were different, and they tasted different, probably because they don't have all the additives and preservatives that
Of
we
course
have
not.
here. But they tasted different, and I think they were flavored. If I remember correctly, it was like a vanilla flavored. There was possibly a grape flavored out there. So this made me think, wait, they got some different candies
Yes.
in Canada. Let me dig a little bit. So the first
knowing us, it was probably healthier too.
right.
Well, I want to set maybe the record straight because maybe was Japan there on that visit? Because sometimes they do bring.
No, they
They
weren't
was-
there.
no, they
This was
weren't there.
at the Emerson CO2 training.
Okay.
Yeah, so totally
'Cause
different.
Sometimes we do get those more
flavors.
different flavors
Yeah.
when they
Yeah,
come
yeah.
over from Japan because they hate a little more infused flavors. But
Mike, do me a
we do
favor.
have-
Close that door behind you. I don't want any goblins coming in here while we're talking about this.
Yeah.
out of here.
Unless they have candy corn.
They're bringing treats, sure.
So I'm just gonna put out some candies there that I found, and you guys tell me if this is a Canada thing or if this is a bunch of baloney.
Yeah.
All right. So first one I found was a coffee crisp.
Classic.
Yeah.
Classic.
Is it really?
First thing, when my daughter gets a bucket of candies, the first thing I do is go through the bucket and pick those ones out. And
So that's your favorite.
that's the first
And
one I'll
How
eat.
about that?
There's an interesting fact that we just found out. So we've been eating coffee crisp since I was a kid, and then just the other day we were going to give it to our son. I think it was, or my daughter, and someone said, "I think there's coffee in there," and I'm like, "There's no way." And I looked at the ingredients, and there's a little bit of coffee.
Oh, wow.
And the coffee crisp. So caution to all the younger viewers: don't give them to your kids, or you can have them for yourselves if you're in
So
Canada.
that was my excuse. I didn't even read that, but that was my excuse to not give it to my daughter.
There you go.
I just told
Because
her
of the
that
coffee?
It has
Yeah.
coffee. Yeah.
Safety concerns, health concerns.
Nice.
I got to eat this. I'll take it for the team.
So I wasn't lying. Good.
Yeah.
Next one, Caramilk.
Another staple on the Canadian
now that-
variety store shelves. Yeah.
All right. All right.
I will love that because it's got caramel in it.
Yes.
I will love
Yeah,
it.
you're all about that.
It is classic.
Yes.
Yeah.
So tres leches.
Yes,
right?
tres
One-
leches is right.
That's a
It's a cake made with
Yeah.
3 milks. It's a dessert. It's
Okay.
a Cuban dessert.
Okay.
so Juan has talked about taking condensed milk and
cooking
boiling it. You cook it
Yeah,
and it turns into
pressure cook it. Turns
Wow.
into caramel.
Yeah.
And then you spread it over the cake and making it 4 milks, which is cuatro leches.
That sounds great.
It is
That
very
sounds
good.
delicious.
So what do we got next? We got now that I had to put all three on this slide is crispy crunch, crunchy, and coffee crisp. So we just talked about coffee crisp, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But crispy crunch and crunchy, those are Canadian chocolates.
Yeah. So crispy crunch, I personally hate because it gets stuck between your teeth.
Yeah.
Oh, do they really?
Oh, yeah.
Are they hard to chew?
And there's like pieces in of I think candy. I think I'm not
Peanut?
sure.
Could it be peanut?
No, not
No?
peanut. It's actually, and so when you chew on it, it gets stuck
In between your teeth.
in between your teeth.
Oh, wow.
And
Yeah.
sometimes you can even feel like you're breaking your teeth when you're eating that candy. So I personally stay away, and when we do get in a bucket, I'll recycle it and put it back into
Oh, for somebody else.
For somebody
I see
else.
how you are.
All right, you heard it here first.
Yes.
Careful with those.
Yeah. Let's get you skip those
Children,
ones.
listen to your dad.
All right, and I found this one, and you guys can confirm whether this is a thing. Coffin crisp for
Really?
Halloween.
I've never
Coffin crisp.
I've never seen it, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's on the shelves for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so it's got on the outside of the package, it's got a skeleton crawling out of a coffin, and it looks like the coffee crisp.
Yeah.
but it's coffin crisp.
Does it
Thought that was pretty cool.
contain caffeine?
That's
the
awesome.
question
It's
that
definitely
remains.
it's a limited run probably. Limited run edition.
Just for Halloween.
Just for the
yeah,
Halloween.
You're probably right.
And this one's interesting. This one right here,
Molasses, kisses.
molasses.
Oh yeah.
Kisses.
Tire a la malasa.
All right, so is that an old school candy?
Yeah. My a friend of ours, he's 87. He has boxes of these.
Really?
And
No
I
way.
think they might be actually. I think they might be expired. But
Sorry, I'll get rid of them this Halloween.
Does he take
Oh,
his
yeah.
teeth out for this one?
he doesn't have any.
If not, this one will take your teeth out.
So this one was interesting. I love Smarties,
Yes.
but you guys got something called Rockets, and it's the same package,
Packaging.
same color, everything.
So Smarties are the ones that come in a box, right?
Smarties are the ones right below that the Rockets, the
Rockets.
picture that's it's just
Same thing.
looks like the
Oh,
it's the
smart. Oh, I see it there now.
yeah,
Sorry,
yeah.
yes.
So here in the U.S., it's Smarties.
We call them rockets.
you guys call them Rockets.
We don't make rockets,
Interesting.
so that's what
Look at
we make. We don't make real rockets. We use make little candy rockets instead. It's the best we got up there. Those are great though. Those are a classic.
I'm wondering who copied who.
Oh,
Probably
we
us.
came first.
I don't know.
Probably.
I started reading some history on it. I'm going to have to follow up and see what the story is with that. Maybe some of our listeners can text us what the
There you go.
differences are.
Yeah, throw your votes in. Let's see what everyone
or
thinks.
perhaps of all the ones that we're mentioning, if they have had it, which one do they like the best?
Right.
Yeah, we'll go through this list, and I'll give you my top at the very end
Okay.
because it may or may not be here.
Next one, Wonder Bar.
Yeah, Wunderbar.
What is that? What is a Wonder Bar?
It's yeah, you know what? I don't even know what's inside.
It kind
these
of looks like a
things.
Twix.
It's like a Twix. It's got a little chewy nougat in there, I think, as well. Caramel on the top, surrounded by that, layer of milk chocolate. It's a good chocolate bar. It is.
The way Michael is looking at it, he's thinking, I want one.
Yeah. Actually, I packed one on the flight over here.
Oh, did you?
I had it last
See?
night when I got in the room. A little one, small Halloween version.
Now, this next one is, I haven't seen one of these in, I want to say 20 years or more here in the U.S. So I don't know if they got rid of them and they're still in Canada, but the
Canada took them all.
Aero Bar.
Ooh.
You guys don't have them?
No, we used to. I can't find these anywhere. And if someone that's listening knows where I can find these, I'd probably order them on Amazon
Probably.
now,
Amazon has everything.
But there are different flavors. There's like hazelnut and I can't even see the
Peppermint.
Yeah.
peppermint, but different ones. But the consistency of this chocolate is fantastic
Yeah,
because
it is.
it's just like it sounds, Aero.
Yeah.
Coconut. Now, that would be my favorite.
Yeah. So it's very airy. This chocolate, very light and airy. It's fantastic.
I agree. I think for those, they do have all those flavors in Canada. I've tried them all. The classic's always the best for that Aero.
Right.
We got to bring some down next time we come and visit.
Yeah.
So
we
you're
didn't
coming
know.
back next week, right?
So last one, Kit Kats. So these Kit Kats, and there are a ton of different flavors. We only have one, maybe. Oh no, we got a couple here. We have cookies and cream. We have
See, I've only known the one.
yeah, and it's
The wafer
basically just
with the chocolate.
cookies and cream, maybe white chocolate and regular chocolate.
Okay.
But I know the factory, Mitsubishi factory, came down and paid us a visit years ago. They brought us a bunch of grape Kit Kats.
That would be good.
Yeah, they gave me a grape Kit Kat and a pack of cigarettes, Japanese cigarettes, which I still have on top of my my desk.
I'm sure they were
keep
Pall
those-
Mall.
Yeah, they're probably stale by now. But yeah, so out of all of those,
That's so funny.
Michael and Anatoly, what do you think was the best out of all that list?
Coffee Crisp for sure. That is
Coffee
by far
Crisp.
the best candy bar that we got in Canada. I'll say that on record.
Now, did I miss any any favorites that you might have?
Oh, Henry. Do you guys have Henry?
yeah, we've got Old Henry.
Henry
Yeah.
is another really good one. Another one that I think is underappreciated is Mr. Big. You guys
I almost put that on the list.
do you have it down there?
No, I did not put that on
Never
there,
heard
but
of
I
it.
seen it. I
Mr.
kind of
Big, great candy bar,
All right.
and it's big.
Yeah.
It's big, so you get a lot of value in one wrapper.
Oh, all right, nice.
So if you really, you're hungry and you got limited
when
cash
did you-
on hand,
When did you say you were coming back?
So is it just chocolate? Is there layers? Is that
yeah. So it's chocolate with caramel again.
I think there's some nuts.
I think there's some nuts in there as well, but it's just a mixture, and it's kind of the filling is expanded, so it kind of has like an airy effect, like the Aero
Yeah.
as well. So it's light but chewy at the same time. It's delicious. highly recommend it.
Sweet.
The next time you come up.
So we talked a lot about the different chocolates. There's a lot of chocolate in there, right?
yeah.
So is there any Halloween candies in Canada like sweet, any kind of like gummy? Well, we did talk about smart rockets, but
Rockets. Anything. Anatoly's got the sweet tooth between the two of us. So
Dude, I usually eat them and don't look at the package.
they all kind of taste the same after a while. Right?
Some connoisseur you are.
That's
he's
why
got stuff to do. He's got testing to do.
Yes, he does.
Not time for that stuff.
Fuzzy peach, Swedish berries.
Yeah.
What else is there? The gummy worms, the Cokes, the mini Cokes. I don't know if you
Oh
have.
yeah, the wax bottles.
Yeah.
The wax bottle.
Little
Yeah.
wax bottles.
Yes,
right?
yes. Those are classic. I don't know.
Those were on the worst list, I think, last year, along with circus peanuts.
Yeah,
If you guys have circus peanuts,
no.
they're like these big orange peanut-looking things. They're terrible. But anyway, it's someone out there probably loves them.
Yeah.
But anyway, welcome to the Metis Tech Show, everybody, and we got MESCA live with us in the studio. So welcome, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, Michael and Anatoly. Michael, start with you. What do you do for MESCA, and what is MESCA?
So MESCA is Mitsubishi Electric Sales Canada. So we are the sales company for Mitsubishi products in Canada. I support the residential product. Technical service specialist is the job description. And we, in Canada, we're a little bit of a smaller company. So we can, in that one role, kind of encompasses a lot of different things with respect to supporting the after sales of residential products. So it's training, warranty, QA, technical bulletins, things like that. So it's basically all the after sales support on M&P series products.
Nice. So when I was there a few years ago, and if I'm not mistaken, you were in the process of building a test chamber
Yes.
for your
I
units.
remember that.
So,
With Anatoly and
looking
Fred,
at
shout
this-
out to Fred.
Styrofoam.
out of foam.
Styrofoam
But it
and duct
works.
tape.
And skids,
right?
And
Yeah.
skids to
Yeah.
hold it, to
Yeah.
reinforce the structure.
Yes.
We use skids.
We were
We don't want to break the budget, so got creative.
But I loved it. I love what you guys do to do your testing. You make it work. So it's fantastic. Anatoly, introduce yourself. What do you do at MESCA?
So same role as Michael's. It's residential technical service specialist. But to be honest, due to our capabilities, we do everything. We even now started cross training on City Multi and site visits on City Multi products, and so it's exciting. But at the same time, we're extremely busy because of the amount of different tasks and the amount of different requests we get from like sales teams, engineers,
Right.
and our distributors in terms of training and so on and so on. So you're always pulled into something, whether you want it or not. So
yeah, but in a good way. And
Yeah.
it's positive too, because then we get kind of our hands in everything, right? So
Right, there you go.
it really helps us grow our knowledge on the product, specifically the Mitsubishi product, and we enjoy it.
yeah,
Awesome.
for the record, that wasn't a complaint. For the record.
Let's make that clear, right?
Oh, yeah.
So you guys are here this week for Advanced M&P, and you came to Boston because you knew Juan was coming.
I'm sure that's the reason why they came to Boston.
That's right.
Yes, absolutely.
So what do you think of the class? Day one is over. What do you think of the class so far?
I
You don't
think
have to. You can lie. It's okay.
Please lie.
Yeah, how Canadians are, right? We always say
Polite.
thank you, and no, but honestly, it was great. I think you can tell that you guys are, or we can tell that you guys are in different level for training, it's nice to see also tech guys being so interested and involved, and not just sitting there on their phone or falling asleep. It's amazing.
Well, you're not going to do that in Juan's class. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah, I can.
He's got his
I-
yardstick and he's smashing that thing on the table.
Yeah, this take will come to life.
yeah.
But I think if Juan and I went for any kind of training at MESCA, we would learn a lot of things
no
as
doubt
well.
about
There's
it.
a lot of things that you guys know that we don't know. And you face different challenges there in Canada as well.
Yeah.
But I'm glad, Juan, you're back on the show.
Yes.
Fantastic. I know you have a lot of fans out there. So, but I'd like to talk about installations. And, we've talked about installation, Juan, since day one.
Absolutely.
Even with Roland. And by the way, update on Roland. Roland is doing fantastic.
Yes.
Roland was our instructor in Orlando. I don't know if you guys remember Roland, but he retired and he was sick for a little while, and
Yes.
he got a double lung transplant. And he has recovered. It's just unbelievable.
Yeah, he's out hiking.
He's hiking with his wife. He's riding a bike. He's back to breathing normally again, and I'm just so happy. And he messaged me on Facebook and said, because I posted something about the podcast, and he said, "Hey, I want to be on the podcast."
Oh my!
So
that would be
we're
awesome.
going to make this happen.
And by the way, he was the one that taught me how to say "park the car."
Park the car.
Park
Yes.
the car.
So,
nice.
So one of the first episodes we did, or you did with Roland, was basic best practices,
Yes.
piping best practices, right? We figured, and I love this idea because you came up with this idea, Anatoly, for a reason, because these systems are only as good as how they're installed. It doesn't matter what manufacturer you work for, what brand you're installing. They're all as good as how they're installed, right? So let's talk about some best practices for installation. What do you guys look for? What do you recommend contractors do? Let's start right from the beginning with the installation of the outdoor unit and indoor unit and piping.
Yeah, I would say just a few things that I would mention, and I did it personally myself. So I like to have a sequence of installation, like how I'm gonna approach the project, whether it's a 1-to-1 or a central system or a branch box system. So that way I'm not running around and I need this, I need that tool. I'm all prepared. These tools I need for running pipe. These tools I need for electrical wiring, and so on and so on. Because as an ex-contractor, I had my own company before I joined Mitsubishi. I installed multiple Mitsubishi and different products, and until this day, I still get calls. It's so interesting. I get calls from customers, and they say, "Hey, you did this and that 2 years, 5 years, not 2 years, sorry, 5 years, 6 years ago. Can you come? My neighbor or my want to have unit installed." And I'm sorry, I'm not doing it, but it's good to know that I spent the time. I made sort of a sequence of installation, which worked for me. I'm not
right.
saying it's for
Like a
everybody.
process.
Yeah, exactly. And I can say that it was successful based on my experience. It was successful. I don't think I've really ever got a call back saying that the system's not working.
Awesome.
So
That's fantastic.
yeah, that's my experience, and I can expand on that. But Michael,
Yeah, well, I think having an approach for sure is definitely like the methodology to get it done properly. After you've obviously selected the product, you want to make sure that you're placing these products in the right place, especially when you're talking about ductless systems, right? So I think just room locations and how to optimize air circulation within that space, given the maybe limitations or the design of that indoor unit, really enhances the overall experience for the end user. So even something simple like that, not even getting on the technical side on the steps with evacuation and all that, I think is really important before you start cutting holes in the wall and running pipes and all that stuff.
Right.
So yeah, that would be step number one. Number two, or maybe not number two, but maybe some other things would be, proper pipe practices, right? I know it's talked about a lot. I believe even on this podcast, I've heard it. Making sure that, when you are doing flare connections, we're doing proper flares, using the right tools for the right refrigerants, really important. Not letting any of that, unwanted debris entering the pipes, blocking strainers.
We call that trash.
Get the trash out of there. The drywall, somehow it made its way into the sheetrock, we should say.
Yeah, and that is a big issue. We have a lot of compressors that go back to the factory. They cut them open. They find silica.
Yeah.
We've talked about this before.
Yes.
Where does that silica come from? And it's all construction dust, concrete dust, sheetrock dust. And how is it getting into the piping? Sealing the pipes, making sure these pipes are sealed correctly, not just taped, but brazed shut or proper, plugs put in the pipe to keep all of that out, especially, moisture, keeping all the moisture out of the piping.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, that's not even, you're not even really getting into the, technical side of the work at that point. You're just running pipe, right?
Right.
So
Right.
if you can do that right, then you're already, on the right path. So
Absolutely.
making sure keeping
Yes.
the environment clean when you're installing it is important, right? And then we see it a lot in Canada when we get brazed connections. It's like always a scary thought, especially those larger systems, smart multi systems.
Right.
There's a lot of higher chances of having brazed connections.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then we're very
Did they sweep nitrogen?
did they sweep nitrogen through it, right? And we know it's those strainers, they block the very restrictive, the ones that are inside the units, 50 mesh and 100 mesh, as you were explaining in today's class, right? That's how many squares in a square inch.
Square inch.
So
There's not much space.
not much space. So if you're not brazing nitrogen while you're purging nitrogen while you're doing the braze, then
doing the sweep, right?
then that's going to be another huge installation failure, right?
Right, and if you think about city multi-systems, especially like a Y series system, could have up to 3,000 feet of pipe.
Yes,
on there,
that's
and-
easily.
and a lot of brazing. So it's normal to walk onto a job site with a good contractor has multiple nitrogen tanks, big nitrogen tanks. None of these little tiny nitrogen tanks, big, a whole rack of nitrogen tanks, and they're constantly sweeping nitrogen through the system as they're brazing. It's so important.
Yeah.
One thing that I also mentioned when it comes to copper piping, you don't see the harm immediately because you can't see inside the pipe.
Right.
Now you can look at electrical and you can immediately see a problem on the electrical side. But when it comes to the piping, it takes time for that to react. So it's critical for the piping to be taken care of.
Yeah.
That's true. That's absolutely true. And you know that it's so we've said it millions of times, and the installation manual. It's like the biggest difference, right? What I see between commercial and residential is usually looked at as it's easier, it's quicker, so let's just get it over with. Where generally commercial is more complex and people will actually take time and actually braze, and then the cost of failure on the commercial side is tens of thousands of dollars, right? So where regardless the approach should be the same, and the importance of installation manual, take the time. I remember I hated doing it, but every time I was installing new product, the night before I would sit down and pull the install manual and just go through, whether it was a furnace or, I did a lot of different radiant tube heaters or heat pump, boilers, whatever it is, you name it, and just sit down and go through the manual and pinpoint things that are really important and that you need to follow, and that's basically 90% of your success, right? So
it's really inspiring that you would take the time to do that. You should. You should take the time to
Absolutely.
do that, and
Yeah.
especially with some of these systems that are coming out that we're releasing next year, late this year. The Eco Dam, the air to water, and in the future, the water to water. There's a lot of things that we got to look at in control side for these systems that are kind of foreign to us. We're releasing this system, this hydronic system, in here in the United States. Half of the country, they're not
not-
accustomed to hydronics,
No. Yeah.
right? So we're trying to support this product. Metis is trying to support this product when we have a lot of people that this is a whole new ball game for them,
us.
right? So so looking at from a contractor's point of view, really, could you just said, I loved what you just said. The day before, you got a big installation coming. You're looking at a manual and you're digging through from important information, install information. That's huge.
That's good practice.
Yeah.
I used to do the same with my installers when I was in business. Every time we would install a new product, like Steve is mentioning, they would take the installation instructions like you did home, and they would read it overnight. Not overnight. I mean, I would pay them for some time on that. But then on the next day, there was very little spent in those manuals.
Absolutely.
Most of the time was spent in the actual installation.
Yeah, and we should mention that was back in when there's no internet and no computers, and
it was just paper.
The
which
information.
these days it's so easy, right? You go
Yes.
online and it's all in your hands, right? So
Yeah.
it should be no excuse.
And also, the installation manuals for the Mitsubishi products, I must say, they are, I find to be very helpful and straight. The way that they've ordered the information is kind of how you would do the installation as well. So the steps that you would take would be exactly how you install it. And they're not very long manuals. It's to the point. It gives you all the information. So I think a lot of the hesitancy with manuals is, it's this big manual, you can't understand it, and it's, 100 pages. They're not the smaller units. The larger units might be a little bit bigger, but with M&P residential products, which is I'm talking about, they're pretty understandable. So for anyone who's maybe a little bit hesitant or is maybe afraid of that big manual and not understanding it, just open it up, read through it, do what Anatoly did, night before or the day before you're going to do the installation, take 15 minutes, and I think the result is going to be really, really good, especially if you're for those smaller companies, right? That's how you differentiate yourself from the competitors.
Yeah, and I think a lot of it's being stubborn too, because we don't want to follow directions sometimes.
of course not.
Yeah.
How many of you guys tried
I've done it for 30 years. Why change now?
Forget about it.
Trying to put furniture together without a manual, and you forget a step, right? So we're stubborn. I was driving to a concert this past weekend with my wife, and I was almost near the venue, and I knew where I was going. Well, I thought I did, and it was kind of like, it was starting to look a little different,
Dicey.
and I didn't want to admit that I didn't want to, I didn't know where I was going, so I kind of like hid my phone. I was kind of like Google mapping it real quick, and she's like, "What's the matter? You don't know where you're going?" "Oh yeah, no, I'm just checking something."
Checking the weather.
So right. So yeah, we talked about piping, brazing, flaring. Let's talk about wiring, the wiring side of these systems. What do you? Because that's where all hell breaks loose, right? The wire gauge, how important wire gauge is, and talking to contractors and teaching contractors that big wire isn't always the answer, right?
Right.
And
Especially in communication.
you have to follow the manual. If it says it's 14 gauge, it's 14 gauge
specific.
or 16 gauge. And I think the biggest scare is, hey, this is 208. This should be like 10 gauge or something. And it's like, no, that's not, how we do it. And we're talking communication, right? So elaborate on that. And it's only, what do you think about that? And as far as wire size and communication?
Yeah, electrical is fun. We get some.
And you actually mean that.
It's
Because you do a lot of testing, and that's the reason I'm picking on you, because when I showed up at MESCA, you guys had a computer hooked up to CN105 on a system, and you had Super Mario on the screen running.
Right. So when there was a communication established, he would start running. As soon as we dropped communication, he would stop.
He would stop.
And that's the way we would know. Yeah, it
Troubleshoot.
it was fun time. It was Fred, and we. Another guy that helps us also, I should give him a shout out to Robert Chozo. He's actually, we're lucky to share a building with Mitsubishi Automation.
Yeah.
And he's a senior manager, a branch manager. He worked there for like 28 years, and the guy just knows control boards and electronics. He just needs to look for like 10 seconds on the board, and he knows what it does and which component does what, and what component potentially could fail, and so on and so on. Amazing. Wow. He's amazing. And
that's great.
He helps us build some tools and troubleshoot and explain certain things that kind of above, I would say, our head. And then it's
that's a great resource. That's awesome.
Yeah. I keep telling him, I said, look, you can't retire until I learn everything. You're staying here until...
Yeah, I have an enormous amount of respect for somebody that can look at a circuit board and diagnose all of the intricacies on that circuit board. And I've been watching somebody on TikTok that repairs old 80s, 70s and 80s stereo systems.
Yeah.
And opens it up. It's just a big ball of dust, cleans it all up, finds bad resistors and capacitors in it, replaces them. It just blows my mind that that it could actually be done. Huge.
Especially older
so
technology.
To hear Anatoly say this, I think we're due for another trip to Canada.
Yeah.
Anytime.
It sounds like we have a lot to learn.
Yeah,
you're always welcome. Show up there too as well.
You're always welcome. But it's true. The things that you see sometimes guys are using, for example, I still have a picture, I'm pretty sure. The guy calls me, I was like, oh yeah, my system's not running. And then I go, well, what do you have between S1, S2, S3? And I said, you know what, take a picture, send it to me. He sends me a picture, and I just look at it, and I don't even know what to say, because he has... it's a I think it was 12-2 or 10-2 wire, and then S3 he connected the ground, or it wasn't him. He said that it wasn't him who did that.
Of course it wasn't him.
And then I said, and I look at it, and it's just, you're speechless, right? When you see these things, when you see ground connected as S3, you don't even know what you're supposed to say here. And then in some other cases where guys use thermostat wire, right, 18 gauge for S1, S2, S3 as well. And come on, guys, fix it. Call me back. You should know better than that. These are not even our Mitsubishi requirements, and it's a requirement that we have Canadian Electrical Authority, ESA, Electrical Safety Authority.
ESA.
Oh wow.
Which we do, I think, follow a lot. U.S. regulation, which means anything 120 and above, you have to use a minimum 14 gauge, and that's not our ask. It's a authority. It's a regulation.
Like a code.
It's a code. Yeah. So you should know better than that when you're putting a 16 gauge wire on the 120 to the ground, right?
Yeah.
Again, without even reading a manual, you should know that. I shouldn't be telling you that, right?
Right.
But yet, unfortunately,
yeah. So we have local codes and we have national codes.
Yes.
right.
So we're you could recite national code all day long, but you get an inspector in a certain town that wants a switch on a unit, or he doesn't understand a ductless unit and says, why is there 14 or 16 gauge? Why is it such a small wire?
Yeah.
Well, the manual says that, and you got to show them this. And you can't go around saying, well, national code says this, and you're going to lose real quick because
we've been battling as well. They don't ask to put disconnect between indoor and outdoor. But in some cases, we get those instructors that want to be...
It's becoming less and less here. I feel like it's becoming less and less.
Yes, right.
It was a big thing 8 years ago, 10 years ago, but not as much anymore because I think a lot of inspectors are getting educated on
Right.
how these systems work. They're low wattage, they're low amperage, right?
Yeah.
So S1, S2, S3, that's important, right? Following that pattern, they can't cross each other, right? S1 cannot go to S2. It's
Yeah.
not very unforgiving. It has to work S1 to S1, S2 to S2, S3 to S3 on a residential unit. On a commercial unit, we're looking at MNet,
Yeah.
and even on the Smart Multi or the PUMI,
Yeah. Yep.
right? We're looking at MNet, and that's a constant 29 volts
Yeah.
communicating voltage, right?
That's another fun part. The MNet is great. You know, you get a call, and these ones you just don't expect. You never expect those. So you get a call, and the guy goes, "Oh yeah, I got a branch box system, and it's not working. You know, what are you getting error code? Oh, it's communication or transmission." And then so you start troubleshooting everything. Of course, you go, "Oh, you know, what's this and that," and then everything checks out, and then so you revert back to the first step. Okay, let's start from the beginning. So you use this wire for your line voltage based on your MCP, MOP, and MCA, right? Yeah, okay. So you're using this wire for your, indoor, your line voltage for indoor. Yeah, okay. So you're using a shielded, 16 cage, 2-core shielded wire for your MNet. No, it's a BX. It's a 14.3 BX.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Come on.
Right. I've heard of a lot of different types of wire used for MNet.
Yeah.
Thermostat wire.
Thermostat wire, extension cord cable, lamp cord, you name it. Yeah.
Anything that transmits electricity.
And so there's only one type of wire, and that's 16-2 stranded shielded wire.
Yeah.
Yeah. So wiring, another important part of the installation. Something that we've just added this year to our M&P course, which I thought was huge, is measuring static pressure in ductwork.
Oh,
Yeah.
Right?
we
something
saw
that
that.
Yeah.
You guys
Yeah.
shared that presentation with us, which we were thankful for, and I thought that was great.
Yeah.
that
Awesome.
addition,
Yeah.
and I was actually going to touch on that part of the installation as well. It's kind of for us, because we are attaching a Mitsubishi unit to a ductwork that may or may not have already been in the home. That's where it gets a little bit tricky, because when there's a problem with this system now, they tend to go back to blaming the product. Right? So we've been thinking about adding ductwork information in our training, which is part of an installation, even if the ductwork was installed already. Right, so having that piece I thought was really good. So huge.
It's
really
we
huge.
see these charts in the manual. You see these static pressure charts and CFM charts, and you just kind of like, we'll scroll past that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Who wants to deal with curves?
I know.
And so big shout out to Scott Tallman, who doesn't work for us anymore, but he was a tab technician. He was out there doing testing and balancing before he came to work for us. So that was his idea of throwing that in. And the reason is because, with him being from the South,
Right.
and dealing with humidity, and these units were just
Yeah.
cranked up, high speed, not removing the humidity they were supposed to. Tech support was getting hammered with calls.
Right.
We had to do something. We had to put it into our training, and it was kind of for a lot of us as instructors. We had to kind of go back to school and be like, oh man, I got to figure out what this slide is showing me here, and it's basically just measuring static pressure across. Make sure your fan speed is set up correctly, but it all starts with duct sizing.
Yes.
Right, you can measure the static pressure all day long. Doesn't mean the duct size correctly.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
Flex was. I've talked about this a million times, and I hate to beat a dead horse, but flex was a big problem for a long time. People went crazy with it, and I think they still do.
In
Flex
Florida, there's
duct?
only. I'm sorry,
Flex
Michael.
duct? Was that?
Yes.
You mean flex duct?
Flex ductwork, yeah.
The one that's insulated on the outside.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
Is that used a lot in Canada, or do you
Well,
guys using hard duct?
I actually had an experience with it at my own house.
Okay.
All right. So I had to do some ductwork where an inspector was involved, and the drawing called for 6 inches takeoffs from the trunk, So I did that. I did 6-inch flex duct from the trunk of the ductwork, and apparently the local code in Toronto, at least, called for oversize. You have to actually oversize when you're using flex ductwork. You have to step it up. And I didn't know that, so I had to remove all that ductwork. So that's
wow.
And this was recently, right? So to your point, going back to school and learning, the trade's humbling, right? And
Yeah,
there's a lot
flex
of-
duct has a higher static pressure than pipe.
It makes sense, right? But when you're seeing it, you're following it, so you always got to do your homework, even with insulation manual, but kind of the full scope on of an install.
Yeah, so we don't teach that in our classes. We're not teaching how to size duct, but we're definitely now teaching how to adjust airflow based on the static pressure, design static pressure of that system, and making sure that you're doing it properly, and you're not, we're giving you the ammo that you need to go out there and you figure out what unit you're using. Number one, is it a small SEZ? Where you're just feeding one room, or is it a large SVZ air handler? How to properly set that up.
Yeah.
So
And the irony of it is, on any ducted system, airflow is everything. I mean, if you don't have proper airflow, you're not get the full capacity out of that system.
Correct.
But the irony of it is the least thing we know about in the field.
Yeah.
Because technicians are not learning how to deal with that. And like you said, Michael, is you come to that portion of the new for the installation instructions, and they just breeze over because they don't know how to read the charts.
Yeah, it was difficult to apply it, right? But that piece that's added to that presentation that I saw was, I thought, really great. At least you're able to get it in a range now, right? Which is critical.
Yeah, I used that piece to adjust my static pressure in my
That's
unit.
right.
Actually,
You did over the phone that day. That's right.
Yeah, I got a Zuba Central system, and actually, I wanted to add to that is another important is we are using a lot auxiliary heat, right? Electrical auxiliary heat, and if you're not getting proper CFM,
Good
you're
point.
overheating. You're potentially
Overloads or tripping.
Yeah. So it's absolutely a must. On inducted equipment. So,
and you mentioned the PAA earlier, the A coil.
Yeah.
And on the PAA, you test airflow through pressure drop across the coil, which I love that because the charts in the manual that tell me if I have such and such pressure drop, I'm moving this much air. So it can't get any easier than that.
Right.
And
That's
then
really
I
helpful.
adjust the airflow according to that.
Yeah, that's great. Absolutely.
Yeah. Other than that, let me adjust the camera here. We're cutting off Mike over here. I don't know what happened, but no big deal. Technical difficulties. This is when Bryn's out of town and I got to take over now.
That's. I am impressed though. You're doing pretty good.
All right. Yeah. We'll see if they get any audio out of this when we're done.
Just don't do like Paul. You press the delete button.
Yeah. And you know what? One more thing I would like to mention for A2L, or I should bring in A2L slightly slowly into this conversation is supposedly something new, right? Which to be honest, nothing new. Like I worked on 5-6 years ago before I joined Mitsubishi. I worked on refrigerators, propane refrigerators, and you got to be careful. You got to take your time. That's where you really want to make sure you're reading on the equipment, and taking all the steps and taking the time. I think if anything, this transition will actually potentially weed out the contractors that don't want to spend the time and do the proper installation.
I agree.
Because they think they'll be failing miserably, and it'll give the road to the guys that actually are trying to do good work and show great craftsmanship and so on. Because to be honest, in my eyes, 410A to A2L is it's least difficult than 22 to 14
To 14.
Yes.
in my eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right.
So, and all this current, fuss about flammability and this and that, I encourage everybody. We legally shouldn't be suggesting anything, about A2L because we have nothing to do with the refrigerant itself. We're equipment manufacturer, but I encourage everybody to watch videos on flammability testing and on R454B because it's actually really safe.
Yes.
Absolutely.
So.
Yeah. And then bringing it back to the installation on A2L, there isn't too much more, at least for the Mitsubishi side, right? Besides making sure that the volume of the refrigerant in the room can be allowed in that space, right? So you always have to check the charts that are in the installation manual.
Right.
And then on some installs, you, depending on the orientation of that air handler, the multi-position air handler, you may need to change the sensing location of a sensor. So that could be done on the installation. And then lastly, for that smart multi, you will need to install a sensor on the wall-mounted ductless indoor units, right? So there's not too much more there. To Anatoly's point, I don't think it should be really, put people off too much on the new refrigerant.
Right.
Just take a little bit of that extra time and reviewing the installation manual, and it's pretty straightforward, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And if you have any questions, just listen to the Metis Tech Show.
Yes.
Or come to one of our classes. And if you're in Canada, come to one of Anatoly's classes.
Yes.
You don't teach that much anymore, you said.
No,
But-
I stepped down, and I enjoy sharing information because I don't really see it as teaching. I'm not old enough to be teaching anybody.
Excuse me? Are you trying to tell me that you have to be old to be able to teach?
Yeah, you're going to be as
Okay.
old as one.
I'm not wise enough to teach anybody.
No. Now he covers it up.
But I love sharing information. I hate withholding information from people. So I would share anything I know. And I always try to back up my facts with testing. I would always tell you if anybody asks me a question, how the system reacts when this happens and so on. If I know for sure, I'd say this is how it reacts. If I just read the theory, I would say this is how it should react, but I don't know for sure. Mm-hmm. So I always like to test and, but yeah, I did step down from training. It's mostly Michael right now. And we did hire a new guy. And we're going to be bringing him up to speed and,
Awesome.
Gabriel, I think his name.
Hopefully he's aware of that and he's not finding out on the podcast.
Yeah, if not, he is now.
He is now. Welcome, Gabriel.
Gabriel, you're teaching. You are the teacher now. Anatoly says
No
so.
pressure. Yeah, so yeah, because we do our training at our distributors across Canada. So the contractor would need to be registered with that distributor to be purchasing products. But once they're set up with those distributors, they're welcome to attend our training as well. We're always
Awesome.
We're training as much as we can. Usually in the off season, so spring and falls is when we do most of the training. So yeah, it's good. It's really good. We see the benefits of it, so we're happy to do it.
Excellent.
Great.
All right, that was a great.
That was awesome.
Conversation on installation, and
Candies.
we can never talk about it enough. And I know we've talked about it a bunch of times. I know there's probably listeners out there saying, "Hey, here they go again talking about wire size and all that." But it's what we deal with all the time.
Right. And it's fun to hear from a different perspective in another country or another
Exactly.
region,
Yes.
what they go through. And we know what I heard was it's very similar as to what we go through here. It's the same thing.
I always think of like I asked at the beginning, do they, trick or treat and, is Halloween a thing in Canada?
Same
I don't
thing.
know. It's-
We learned that it was.
yeah, it is.
One
And,
thing I like to know is best candy that you love to eat and the worst candy that you won't even touch.
Okay, best candy. I would say. Can we include chips in this candy conversation?
Yeah,
as
why not?
snacks?
Do they taste
Absolutely.
like chocolate? No.
No. So I think the Yeah, the best
Junk
chips. I'll do chips and candy. All right.
Okay.
Miss Vicky's jalapeno chips. I think
Oh yeah, we got some here. We've had that
is
here
the best
before.
one.
Yeah.
They must have them here too. I actually had it last night at the hotel.
Yeah, I think we get like Panera Bread or Jersey Mike's or something like that. And
Yeah.
They give us bags of
Jalapeno
Yes.
chips. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's the best chips. I think the best candy is Milk Duds, which you guys had today
Oh,
here
yeah.
in the office. And
Oh, we did.
Yeah, you did. I think
Not anymore.
Not anymore. I think
Somebody
I ate them
has
all.
cleaned the slate.
I think those are the classic. Probably more of a staple here in the States. Worst candy. I think I like all chips, but worst candy bar I would say is the Turkish Delight. I'm not a big fan of that one. That's not my. I don't think you guys. By the looks of your faces, you haven't had
no clue
it.
what you're talking about.
Turkish Delight.
Yeah,
I don't even know.
It's a
No
candy
idea.
bar. It's I think it's chocolate around it, and there's it's like a caramelized. It's like a gummy, like a sweet candy inside with chocolate on top.
So
a bad combination.
Let me ask you this: do you guys have cow tails in Canada?
No, not that I've seen.
Cow tail, no cow tails.
I don't think so.
So it looks like
That's interesting.
it comes in a package. It looks like a Slim Jim, but it's caramel on the outside with some white cream on the inside. It's pretty good.
Okay.
I just had one the other day.
If you say so.
Yeah,
I don't
just had
like
one the other day,
cowtails.
and I was like, "Oh, cow tails!" My kid's got wrappers all over his car. I'm like, "What are these things?" But so, what's your favorite Anatoly? What's your
Oh,
favorite?
that's an extrely tough question.
You'll eat
I would
anything.
answer. I would answer anything else, but picking sweets is.
Have you ever
extremely-
mistaken a capacitor for an M&M?
I think there was a time. when- but to be honest,
Discharge capacitor.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
to be honest, it's hard to say. Honestly, it's hard to say. I have a sweet tooth, and that's why I'm trying to stay away as much as I can because I'll eat it all. It's just a matter of time.
Good. So there's no bad for you.
There's no bad
Okay.
Pick one. Come on.
You
That's
know what's
good.
Give
what's
us
bad
one.
for me? Broccoli is what's bad for me.
Nice.
I mean, I even love black licorice.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
not many
yeah,
people
yeah.
like
Yeah.
it.
It's
No,
good.
I'll eat it.
There's a time and
I
place for
will
it.
too.
I'll eat it.
There's a time and place for
I
licorice.
probably won't eat it all the time
Yeah.
because I would get tired of it really quick.
Yeah.
But every once in a while, I would eat
It's
black
nice.
licorice.
Yeah.
Yes.
Craving some right now.
Dark
So-
chocolate, milk chocolate, caramel, fruit, anything. It's as long as it's sweet.
Yeah. So what candy are you going to be stealing from your grandkids, Juan?
Oh, the first go-to is going to be
Don't say candy corn.
Candy corn.
Oh my God.
That's-
The candy
they know.
corns.
They know.
Candy corns.
There's a little bowl that my wife
you
keeps.
talked about the dish.
Yeah, at the front
Yeah.
door. And I'm sitting the way that our living room is shaped. I have a direct line of sight to that little dish.
Yeah.
And every time I watch my grandchildren dip their hand, and they'll expect to hear from me. Ask, how many are you getting? So I keep count.
How many you giving to?
I'm taking 3, but Poppy, I'm bringing you 1.
Everyone's happy. Everyone's happy.
I remembered something. The reason why my bar is so low is because growing up, and just so everybody knows, I was born in Ukraine. And growing up in Ukraine, I mean, we weren't particularly rich or anything. So the bar is, I was eating, you take a piece of bread, dip it in the milk, and then dip it in sugar. So,
wow.
so
That's
that's
awesome.
where it's where it's starting.
Yeah.
Anything
Young
else
age.
is
And,
anything else.
in my case, Anatoly, it doesn't get any cheaper than candy corn.
All right, everybody. We'll see you on the next one.
All right.
Thank you.
Hasta la
Thank
vista.
you.
Take care.